Hi friends, welcome back to ARC Tutorials. This is AWS Concept Series in which I'm trying to explain you all the services that are available as part of the AWS platform, mostly to understand what those services are, what are its pros, cons, what are some of the real world examples of these services. I've already covered three in this particular series. This is the fourth one, which is EKS. If you're not sure about what is EC2, what is Lambda, what is ECS, make sure that you see the previous episodes in the playlist. Today we are going to learn about Elastic Kubernetes Service. So what is AWS EKS? Don't get confused with ECS. This is EKS, which is Elastic Kubernetes Service. Amazon EKS is a fully managed service provided by AWS that simplifies running Kubernetes on AWS without needing to install and operate our own Kubernetes controls. It is highly available and secure control plane, which means that you can easily integrate Kubernetes without having really to manage and install and manage your own Kubernetes platforms and nodes. So let's dig a little bit deep into it, right? So like I said, it's fully managed by AWS, which handles the Kubernetes control plane. It's highly available because it's spread across different multiple availability zones, which means it's always highly available. Security, it's tightly coupled with AWS Identity and Access Management, which is IAM for role-based and group policies, etc. Scalability, seamlessly scale applications and infrastructure based on demand. We talked about integration just like any other AWS service. It can be easily integrated, enhanced with IAM, CloudWatch, VPC, and much more. Talking about the compliance, certified Kubernetes confront to ensure compatibility with standard Kubernetes tooling and open source projects. Multi-region and multi-AZ, which means that supports deployment across multiple regions and availability zones. You can easily run and deploy EKS on Amazon EC2, Fargate, or even you can run it on premise if you are going for that. Some of the key features, I already told you that EKS fully managed, which means that you have the complete Kubernetes control plane components, including the top end database, etc. You can integrate IAM, you can integrate AWS Cloud Map, AWS Fresh Mesh for service discovery and application networking. With support of Amazon CloudWatch, we have comprehensive logging, monitoring, and alerting system. We also use Kubernetes Cluster Autoscaler and Horizontal Pod Autoscaler. These are dynamic scaling tools which helps us manage our nodes and pods, helps us scale up or scale down. Talking about networking, we can use Amazon VPC for secure isolated networking and AWS Private Link. There are a lot of popular add-ons that you can add on top of Kubernetes control planes. Those are available as part of the AWS service platform. What are some of the pros? It's a fully managed Kubernetes control plane, which reduces operational overhead. You don't really need so many people to install, run, and configure and all that. It's readily available. It's highly available. It has multi-region support. You can deploy in multiple available zones. You can integrate with other AWS services. It comes in with built-in security features. What are some of the cons? The learning curve is the only one that I would particularly highlight about the complexity of managing the Kubernetes. Again, cost may shoot up or down based on the utilization. Now, there are hybrid options available, but still there is some limited that you'll be bounded to AWS infrastructure. Those are the only cons. Now let's talk about some of the use cases where you will learn or you will implement EKS, which is Kubernetes control planes. Especially when you're working in a top tier enterprise company where you have complex setup, you will need to deploy and manage large scale microservices based applications like Kubernetes. Hybrid cloud, extend on-premises infrastructure to cloud using EKS or AWS posts. Data processing, you can run heavy containerized data processing and analytic workloads. CI/CD pipelines, of course, When we talk about Kubernetes, we do the automatic application deployments and scaling using Kubernetes. Online gaming, so this is yet another large scale implementation of Kubernetes. Those are some of the commonly used cases that you find in the enterprises. Real world examples, Snap uses Amazon EKS to manage their microservices for Snapchat, which handles millions of users and real-time messaging. Intuit uses EKS for scaling and managing their financial services, software services. Fidelity Investments utilizes EKS to run containerized applications securely and at scale. GoDaddy uses it for domain registration and hosting services. In short, you can think of EKS is nothing but an on-demand managed Kubernetes control plane, right? Through which you manage your nodes and pods. That's simple as that. Alrighty, that brings us to the end of this particular series, concept series session. In the next one, I'm going to talk about Amazon Fargate. I'm going to give you an overview of what Fargate is and what you can learn from it. Thank you so much for joining in this episode. Join me in the next episode. We will try and learn as many services of Amazon, and then I would start hands-on series also for each of these services. If you like my work and tutorials, please do consider buying me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/artutorials. Thank you so much for joining. See you in the next episode.